Hello, I'm Sophia, inventor of the board game Confidence is Boss. In this video, I will explain to you the concept of the board game, how the game is played, and the benefits of playing this game. So let's get into it. Now, Confidence is Boss board game is played along the victory trail, meaning that the board game is based on the victory acronym, where each letter represents an enduring quality essential to victory. And so the C within that acronym represents confidence. Hence, confidence is boss. Now, confidence is a ringleader of all traits. It relays instructions, and all the other traits feeds on it. And here's another thing. If confidence is not at the center, fear usually takes the lead. Fear plays to a different tune, leading to a completely different reality. You'll understand what that really means when you play the game. There are 6 players in the game, each representing a trait within the acronym. So there's V for vivacious, the I for initiative, the T for tenacity, O for optimism, R for results oriented, and the Y for yearning. This deck consists of 7 cards, and every player have their own deck of cards. It's a question-driven game, and so there are questions on these cards relating to that trait. Now, the biggest deck of all in the game is the confidence deck. You know, from watching or observing people playing the game, they're always excited to choose a confidence card. It's always fun. So there's confidence deck. Every player can access this deck of cards. There's also a solution deck as well. Solution deck. And so also every player can access the solution deck as well. It's the same size, same amount of cards for the confidence deck as well as the solution deck. There's also another deck called the Conundrum Battle Showdown. Now, this is used only in the second level of the game. And so the player who finishes first and the player with the highest point go at it for ultimate victory. Now, I should point out to you that every deck, every card in every deck have instructions and questions to answer. It is a question-driven game, which is the reason why it's called a critical thinking maker for personal development. It is a question-driven game. I'll get to the board in a second, but the instruction manual is chock full of information in how to play the game. So there's instructions here, then you have the point structure, then confidence and solution deck is explained here, Conundrum Battle Showdown is explained here, and then we have the self-assessment style. Now, this is always exciting when a player has to answer questions regarding who they are. They're assessing who they are as a person. That can be exciting. Let's get into the board, shall we? Now, the board is shipped like this, but it is a quad fold board. So this is the board. It is it measures 20 by 24 inches. And so you can fold the board like that, fold, and tuck away. Now, on the board itself, so as you can see in the center here, okay, confidence is in the center here. Confidence is a ringleader, and all the other traits feeds on it. And so every color on the board represents a trait that's found within the acronym. So we have the purple for tenacity, we have the green for initiative, the orange for vivacious, the Y for yearning, the pink for results oriented, and the yellow for optimism. Now remember I mentioned that to access the confidence deck, is a section on the board. It's 6 sections on the board to access the confidence deck. So all these blue spots on the board, that matches the confidence deck, right? So there's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections on the board where you can access the confidence deck. To access the solution deck, there's also 6 points on the board, or sections on the board, to access that card as well. And remember, it is a question-driven game, so every card has instructions or questions to be answered to earn your points. If you realize, if you notice here, so this is a start. Every section have a start. Where you start is where you finish. Now, a player needs at least 49 points to go home in the game. If you have not earned that 49 points, you have to go back around the game, around the board. And so remember I mentioned mentioned the conundrum battle showdown, right? So the person who finishes first and the person with the highest point go at it for ultimate victory. And so those 2 players have to have earned at least 49 points to get to this level of the game. Now, because it's a question-driven game and points are earned by answering these questions, a score pad is essential to have at your fingertips, because we have to keep track of your points, because it is these points that's going to determine whether you win or not. And so score pad is available. Now, every player have a token that matches their deck of cards. So these are the tokens. So this is a purple token that matches the purple card, right? And so this is the green, and it matches the green. So that's it in a nutshell. We also have 1 dice. You throw the dice at start, and whatever number comes up, you move around the board according to the number that comes up on the dice. Now on the board, there is a performance section on the board that you can rake up a lot of points here. And this requires confidence to do this, and this is where you can earn a lot of points. And this is where a person's confidence also can be shown in the game. So there's a section on the board where a player, you land on that spot, you have to sing or rap one of your favorite songs or tunes. And the players score your performance. And so you can earn big points there if you do well in that section. You'll notice also that there's a section on the board that says, congrats, you're 7 points richer. And then there's another part that says, I'm sorry, no points for stopping here. So there are interesting stuff on the board that usually gets people excited. Now the self-assessment, remember I mentioned the self-assessment on the instruction manual. So this is how this is how it looks on the board. It says, okay, self-assessment stops. See instruction book. Q2, that's question 2, and you have to answer, the player have to answer question 2 in that section on the instruction manual. Every game is shipped in this bag. This is the Confidence is Boss tote bag. It's really the compartment. It's a big compartment on the inside, so you can even store other things in it as well. So if you're planning on going to an event and you want to take your game with you, perfect. This is such a neat bag to travel with and to put your game in or whatever else you might want to travel with. So that's it in a nutshell. Confidence is Boss board game. And it is done along the victory trail. It is a question-driven game, which is the reason why it's called a critical thinking mecca for personal development. It's about self-discovery, boosting your self-confidence and your self-esteem. By the time you finish playing this game, you would have learned some strategies or tools or something to optimize your life, especially from the solution decks and the confidence deck. These are players' favorite deck of cards: confidence deck and the solution deck. So that's it in a nutshell. Thank you so much for listening. Confidence is Boss board game along the victory trail. I'll see you on the other side.